Hi everyone, you've chosen a very special day to join us on 33 Founders because we're here with Jay Sider, the founder and CEO of BandPage. Thank you so much for joining us, Jay.
Sure thing. Happy to be here.
It's been a pretty incredible journey so far, from mopping floors at gigs to having the idea for BandPage, picketing at South by Southwest, and now, like I just told you, you're Beyonce and Justin Timberlake's go-to guy, which is not a bad title to have.
Yeah.
Can you go through the journey with us a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Those are the good times, huh? Yeah, we've been around as a company now for about 4 years, I guess just starting from the early days. I grew up in Virginia, kind of in a mountain town called Harrisonburg, and grew up as a musician. And after doing that for a little while, I realized I wanted to be a musician, be a professional musician. So to do that, I needed to understand how to get into the business of music. And so I started asking around in the town, hey, how do I become a professional musician and get to the big stage? And so there was I had a couple people give me some tips, but really what I figured out is I needed to be in the business of music. And so literally just starting booking basement shows with my friends or at coffee shops and understanding, hey, how much you have to pay a band, how you run lights and sound, how you market for a show, that kind of stuff. And because I had that experience, I wanted to then learn more. How do you make it from a basement show to a small venue? So then I started managing a small venue, and same thing, started at the bottom, worked up to then a medium and large venue. And the last venue I managed was a 4,000 person capacity venue. Throughout that time frame where I was going from basement shows up to a 4,000 person capacity venue, I started managing bands as well because I had access to the stage, so I could leverage that. And for the bands that I worked with, I could get them in front of, instead of playing in front of 200 people where they normally play in front of, I could get them in front of 1,000 people. And so once I had my bands on stage, it was now important to take advantage of the 800 extra people we were playing in front of. Because you only have anywhere from like 20 to 27 minutes in front of them, and so how do you, before everybody turns and after your last song, before they go out the door or go grab a drink or talk to their friend or something, how do you make sure to build a connection with them so that when they leave the venue and 3 months later or 2 months later when you have another show, you're able to get in touch with those people that saw you and bring them back to the venue. And so it's really a combination of that experience that and really being in that experience and looking at companies like Google and Apple and Zappos that have incredible technology, incredible customer service, where you can kind of use technology to efficiently do that. And so after seeing that, I figured that if Google can build cars that drive themselves, then I can build a technology that helps a band connect with their fans, and reach them really effectively when they're trying to sell tickets to a show or merchandise or experiences or just reach fans in general. So that's kind of how I just got out to San Francisco and started the idea.
It's pretty awesome. And you made a great point about reaching the right fan at the right time, which kind of has a lot to do with the previous conversation we had with Sailthrough's Neil Capel. Anyway, so how are you doing this at BandPage?
Yeah, so I can actually share my screen with you if that would be helpful.
That's perfect.
Yes, please.
All right, cool. And I can show you exactly how we do it. All right, so can you see my my homepage here?
Yep.
Okay, so this is bandpage.com. If you land on our homepage, you'll see this image of the musician on the left-hand side and then their fans on the right-hand side. And our main purpose in life is to help musicians reach their fans in the most cost-effective way to increase their revenue. And so, what we've found out as we have built the company is that it's great that a musician can post to Facebook and Twitter down here on the right and reach their fans on those platforms. But the reality is there are hundreds of millions of fans across all of these other platforms. And so what we started to do is we, as BandPage, we went out and did deals with all of these platforms because across, if you exclude Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, there's and you just look at the other platforms that are listed, there's about 1 billion monthly active users. There's 1 billion fans that are on those platforms each month, interacting with your music or watching your videos or reading your lyrics. But before we came along, before we did those deals with them, it was very difficult or impossible for a musician to get their tour dates or their merchandise or even their photos and bios over to their fans on those platforms. And so, we wanted to make that very simple and straightforward, where a musician on the left-hand side here could set up their BandPage profile with their, they put it in their music, shows, photos, videos, bio, and their store. And anytime they update any of that information, it ubiquitously updates across all of these platforms, reaching hundreds of millions of fans. And so, as you were saying, it's not only about reaching your fans on these platforms. It's really about reaching the right fan at the right time. And so, really starting to reach somebody that's listening to your song or somebody that's looking at your lyrics. And that's what I'll show you here. So I'll show you how all this works real quick. So like I said, we have over 500,000 musicians, everyone from Lil Wayne to Beyonce and Rihanna and Justin Timberlake and everybody. We work with all the major labels and management companies, as well as up-and-coming bands around the world, to help them reach and monetize their fans. And this is what a BandPage profile looks like. So this is Pearl Jam's BandPage. You've got their profile picture, music, their photos. You scroll down, you can see their store and upcoming shows listed here, their videos and bio and official website. And so this is really what 500,000 musicians do. They come in here, they fill out this BandPage profile, and you can see from Pearl Jam to Taylor Swift, the store, upcoming shows, bio, photos, all this stuff, to the Foo Fighters. All of them have up-to-date BandPage profile, and it's really important, and this is why. So I'll show you the example of the Mowgli's, how the Mowgli's are BandPage profile is connected to all their other online properties. So just like Pearl Jam and the Foo Fighters and Lil Wayne, they've got a profile picture, music, photos, store, upcoming shows, videos, and bio. And this profile is important because it's connected over to Vivo. So you see the same profile picture here, their bio and their tour dates are all coming from their BandPage here at the bottom. You can see that's powered by the BandPage there. Then over to Xbox Music, where they've got another big group of fans that are listening to their music. The photo, these tour dates, and their bio, you can see at the bottom right, are provided by the Mowgli's via BandPage. Then we did a deal with Google. So when you search on Google for a band, like the Mowgli's, you see this right-hand box pop up, which is called the Knowledge Panel. And there's this upcoming events section, and so all their events from their BandPage profile are showing up here. Same thing, this is one of my favorite deals is lyric sites. So lyric sites are the second most searched for thing on Google. They have tons of traffic. Yeah, I know, it's
That's
surprising.
so cool.
Yeah, and so there are billions and billions of impressions that are going to lyric sites. And before we did this integration, you would see these ads on the top left and right and the top center. And we said, hey, instead of showing ads to these customers that are reading the Mowgli's lyrics, why don't we say on the right-hand side, put the merchandise that they have on their BandPage, as well as their upcoming shows. So now when you're reading lyrics for a band as a fan, you can now see their upcoming shows, check out their merchandise, and for the first time ever as a band, you can make sure when your fans are reading that they're seeing that stuff. Ultimately, all of this leads towards helping bands sell more tickets, get more people to their shows, get more merchandise up. We also recently did a deal with Spotify. So here's the Mowgli's profile on Spotify, and you can see the official offers here are coming from their BandPage profile. So it's the same stuff there. We did a deal with SoundCloud, and so you've got the profile picture and then their tour dates over here on the right-hand side. Are coming from their BandPage. We did a deal with Rdio, so another great streaming service. So powering the profile pictures and bios and content there. This is in beta, but we did integration with YouTube. So when I'm watching a video on YouTube, this little what they call a merch card at the top left pops up, and you can click right here and buy it. And that's still in beta, still rolling out, and we're excited to hopefully expand that. We also did a deal with Shazam, and this is also in beta, where musicians that have a BandPage profile and have merchandise or VIP experiences, Shazam has 100 million people, monthly active users, 100 million monthly active users, so that's 100 million fans. And before this point, musicians weren't able to display things to their fans other than the music. And so we're really excited that Shazam is really proving to be very artist friendly and start to allow that. And so we've got that partnership. So again, as long as you've got your BandPage profile today, it shows up there. And then we wanted to make sure to make it easy that you can plug into your Facebook page as well as your website, because every artist has a tour date section on their website, merch, music, videos. So all of these sections for the Mowglis are, you can see at the bottom right here, are also connected and empowered by their BandPage, so that, just to bring it full circle, when the Mowglis change this profile picture, or they add a new item to their store, or add a new tour date here, it in real time updates across all of these platforms. At the most, it'll take about 24 hours to update across all those places. And the important takeaway is that it's in some cases the first time ever that musicians have been able to get that information out to their fans, to hundreds of millions of fans across those platforms. And the side effect is that it's really easy. All you have to do is keep this profile up to date, and you're able to reach fans in a very highly targeted way to increase revenue for your band.
That's great. Thank you so much for showing that. That was awesome.
Sure thing. I'll come back.
You've mentioned a lot of strategic partnerships with very big players. Google, Spotify, SoundCloud, just to name a few. But how about your first partnership, Jay, when you didn't have 500,000 musicians using BandPage?
Yeah, so what we started with was just Facebook. So this was back in 2010 when we first launched, and at that time MySpace was still a pretty dominant player for musicians' profiles online. And but also at the same time, Facebook was really rising and gaining a lot of dominance. But musicians didn't have a really easy solution to really represent themselves on Facebook. And so musicians were kind of making the move from MySpace to Facebook, and they were trying to figure out, well, how do I use this platform? Because all my fans are here, but I want to be able to show my songs, my photos, my upcoming tours, and promote my latest thing, whether that's a tour or merchandise or a video or something. And so that was actually not a partnership that we did with Facebook. That was just, at that time, Facebook allowed developers to just build an app on Facebook, so we built an app. I moved out to San Francisco, slept on my ex-girlfriend's great uncle's couch, and started just building from there, and got a few guys in the living room and built this app. Because it's what musicians needed, right? Again, my background was managing bands and venues. And I just knew that was a thing, that a solution that people wanted, and it needed to be really simple, really easy to do that. In the same way that you see today, to power all of those platforms, all you have to do is update one profile. We wanted to start that way, with Facebook, and so to really get to the point to be able to move to the other to power the other platforms, we started with one integration, there on Facebook, and then started building out the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the days when I was copying and pasting all of my tour dates from MySpace, trying to keep up with all the different websites. So something like this is honestly what I always dreamed of building personally. And I know there's a bunch of other competition in the game, though, so I'm curious how you view competition. Is it something that you size yourself up against, or are you kind of the Google self-driving car, just forward and on?
Yeah, well, I don't, I think we're... Right now, as far as the self-driving cars, We're not there yet. We're just building a very strong foundation. You know, like we will be. We'll build something like that. But our goal, if you look at Google and Amazon and some of the biggest companies in the world, what they're really doing is helping to connect the business to its customer in the most cost-effective way to increase revenue. That's a lot of what Google Search did, and that's a lot of what Amazon has done, and that's really what we're focused on. And so when you look in our space at the companies that have the scale, of how many musicians we have, both of up-and-coming bands as well as some of the biggest artists in the world, as well as all the partnerships that we've done. We've worked really hard to make that a powerful platform for musicians to reach their fans. We've had some competition that's come and gone, but now at the place where we're at, there's not another company that you can go to and update all the different types of content and commerce on one profile to reach all the different platforms.
Yeah, and so I mean, musicians are entrepreneurs. So coming from your journey, what is your best entrepreneurial advice to musicians?
Oh man, I think you got it right. And the word you use, an entrepreneur, is the best one. It is a business, right? And I think we need to be thinking as musicians. We need to be thinking about our position as a small, medium, or large business, and how we're reaching our customers, how we're what are the things that we're selling to our customers, and I would really, and that's really what we're trying to do here at BandPage is to help musicians think about it that way. Hey, I've got a business, I've got this content and commerce, and I want to reach my fans in the most effective way to grow my business. And so, so a very simple example is, a lot of times I still see bands. When they're getting ready for a show, they'll print posters and flyers, and they'll go out on the corner and hand them out and post them up. But if you're thinking like a business, and you do just a little research on ROI, return on investment. You look at, okay, if I spend $100, getting these flyers, and then I go stand on a corner and hand them out to everybody, my chances of handing out those flyers to the right person, right? You think about a sidewalk. You've got 1,000 people that walk by you over an hour if you're in a big city or something. And the way I kind of think about it is, of 1,000 people that walk by you, you've got gray dots, orange dots, and green dots. The green dots are the ones that are people that are most likely to come to your show. The orange ones maybe come to your show, and the gray ones are just random people that don't like your style of music, aren't into going to shows or something like that. And so if you're standing on the corner and you're just handing them out, you have no idea who is gray, orange, and green, and who's most likely. But if you take that same amount, that same $100, and you go spend it on online advertising, whether that's through Facebook or Google or retargeting, then you can only spend that money when you virtually hand your flyer to the green dot, right? And so it's just I think the best advice is to really understand that you are a business, and that there are really great business practices, kind of like Business 101, as far as sales and marketing go, that you can literally look up on Google, search Business 101, and you'll get some of those really the best practices to reach your fans and grow your audience.
Yeah, and so now this next question, it might be my selfish attempt to optimize my own BandPage profile. It might not be, probably definitely is. But for a solo musician, for a solo musician wearing every hat, which a lot of people do, what are the most effective means to utilize BandPage then? Are there any tricks, any marketing tricks in there?
Yeah, at this point, we're taking all of those things and trying to make it really easy for you. We are programmatically looking across the different platforms to try and see the gray, orange, and green dots. And so really the place we want to get for you and every artist out there is all you have to do is keep your BandPage profile up to date, and we'll do a lot of the business and the analytics and the kind of the business theory around all of that to programmatically reach the right fan. And you can see that we're already starting to do that, right? Like on the Mowgli's lyric site, now we're showing their tour dates and merchandise. Now, if you go to Pearl Jam's lyrics page, we're going to be showing their merchandise and their upcoming shows, right? So we're already starting to target your fans wherever they are across these places. But there's some really exciting stuff coming up that we'll be able to target even better to be able to help you reach your fans more effectively. I would say the best thing to do is just to make sure it's your profile's filled out and not only connected to the streaming platforms and video platforms, but also to your website and Facebook and Twitter. We power those places. So just so it's easy, you've got one place. You don't have to update all the others. And then I think the second most important thing is in the store, in the BandPage store, you can put things up for sale directly. So you can sell merch and experiences with your fans. If you look at the study, Nielsen put out a study as like a year and a half or 2 years ago saying that there is $2.6 billion for musicians in the US alone to do experiences with their fans, to sell directly to their fans. And there have been a lot of other studies that have come out recently that are really showing this. And that's
for independent artists too, right? Not just the major labels.
And that's I think one of the most important things to point out is for the longest time, only the biggest, really only the biggest bands have fan clubs and do backstage passes and VIP meet and greets and things like that. And what this enables is that every musician, whether you're up and coming, you're just starting out, or you're a big artist, you can sell the experiences. And it's not only backstage passes, it's also online concerts. Like you could do this with your fans, right? For X amount of dollars, like play them 3 songs, for the boyfriend's, birthday or the girlfriend's birthday or something. We've also had, especially for up and coming bands, what we've seen work really well is like house concerts. So there's this gal here in San Francisco called Leah. Her name's Leah Rose, and she's been selling house concerts for $500 a pop. And she plays, to 100 to a couple hundred people a night when she plays at venues. And you think about how much money you make as a musician when you play to 100 to 300 people a night. It's not, you don't end up with that much cash. You'd be lucky if you get out of there with $500. Versus now, having your biggest fans will pay, whether it's 100 or a couple $100 for that. And if you're a big artist, you can get tens of thousands of dollars for that. And we've had both of those scenarios already happen. Just last week, we had an artist that did it for a couple $100 as well. The Stone Foxes are another good example here in San Francisco. They for like, I think it's $20 or $30, before their show they'll let a fan come up and sound check the drums. Before a show they'll do a backstage pass and a 2-song concert for $30 for 10 people. It's an extra $300 a show, right? And it actually adds up. We did this experiment with a band. They made $300 a show, and they did, I think it was like 120 or 130 shows, which equaled an extra $36,000 a year. Right?
Great.
And if you're doing 120 or 130, do the math. But it's 300. It's 10 people, $30, right? And there it is. And the really important thing to remember is you might be a musician that plays in front of 100 people or a couple hundred people, and not think that the pub that you play at or the small venue that you play at is cool, has a cool backstage, green room or whatever. But the fans never get to experience that, right? They do they work in some other industry, and so just even being able to go backstage,
and
even
see what it's like is so
yes,
cool.
See what it's like. They're willing to pay $30 or $50 or even $20. So again, I really recommend that for the solo or up and coming artists. But we've as you see, we're selling an online concert with Ariana Grande, and specialized merchandise and backstage passes for Porter Robinson, who are playing amphitheaters and things like that. So I think the point is that it's really now available for every musician, especially when music sales are trending down. We need to find new revenue streams as musicians to build sustainable businesses, and this is proven. Nielsen, one of the biggest data analytics company in the world, says there's 2.6 billion out there for musicians to do this, and we're proving it by some of the examples that I have you, and we have thousands of other examples. And so that's what I would say is to just kind of come back to it. The two main things on BandPage: make sure to keep it up to date and connect it to your main properties. And then in your store, put up experiences, not just merchandise. Think creatively about the different types of experiences you can do with your fans.
Yeah, please let me know when I can book Eddie Vedder for a living room show.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
I'll go work on that.
So Jay, I want to end with this, and it doesn't have to do with business, and it doesn't really have to do with BandPage, but I'm really curious.
Okay.
You've been involved with music your whole life. What's the one part about music that makes the deepest impact on you?
It's just the emotion. Like it's amazing. What there's just sometimes when you hear a new band and it's an incredible feeling when you have you have your couple bands that you fall in love with, and every once in a while you just get a new one, and the feeling that it provides, the emotion that it brings, whether it's bringing you up or kind of taking care of you in a time that you need like support. It's just this amazing feeling that music brings, and so I think that has that's what drives me to do this, because when I hear a new band or a new musician that I haven't heard of before, and their music is just moves me in that way, it just makes me want to help them tell the world about their music,
Who are some of your new favorites? Tell the world.
Okay, some of my new favorites are Made in Heights. So 3 words, Made in Heights. They're a group out of LA. They're just starting to trend right now. So check them out. Another one is Mandolin Orange, and they're out of North Carolina, also an up-and-coming group. Another one is Aaron Embry. These are all like really small or up-and-coming bands that I just kind of found out about recently. And then, of course, some of the bigger ones or up-and-coming ones are like, Little Dragon and Yesayer and Dawes and the Bahamas. Outkast is like one of my favorite go-tos. Radiohead, of course. So from the spectrum, I think, from the up-and-coming to the big ones, those are some of my favorite. Great. And that's what they do for me. It's they keep me motivated and loving life.
So can we end, Jay, with you telling us how people can start using BandPage and get on the site?
Sure. Go to bandpage.com and click sign up, and hopefully it's easy enough from there.
I got mine set up in under 10 minutes, so.
Beautiful. Yeah, so and just fill out your profile, add some experiences to the store, and then make sure it's connected to the different platforms. They're literally 2 tabs when you land in BandPage. The first tab is your profile, and fill that out. The second tab is what we call audience, so connecting to your audience, and it's just you literally go down the list and click connect, and then all of a sudden it's magically going out to those places. And if it's not for some reason, then call me up or hit us up at our support at bandpage.com, and we'll get back to you, hopefully within an hour or a couple hours.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Jay. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.